Well, hello, and welcome back to another edition of the Brothas-in-law. Those of you who are new to our channel, I'm your host, Corey Taylor, and along with me, my co-host, Michael Bradley. Both Mike and I are former police officers. I was a Virginia State Trooper for 7 years, and Mike retired, a year now, right, Mike?
Yeah, it's been a little over a year. August
A little over a year.
21st will be a little over a year now.
Okay.
And that time went fast, man.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Officer, Northern California. That year, man, went so fast, man.
I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you. You know what? Also, too, everybody, in case you didn't know, I'm also a retired Navy Chief Petty Officer. And I was just looking through some old stuff today because today is the 16th. And on the 16th, for those who are in the Navy, know that this is the day that chiefs get pinned. Well, they got pinned. Well, they went through initiate. Well, they don't call it initiation anymore, but went through the transition ceremony on the 15th.
Right?
And on the 16th, you get pinned for that. And so I was going through some old stuff today, reminiscing when I went through initiation back then, because it's like being part of the world's greatest fraternity, right? Of chiefs. Yeah. Only a selective few get to make it that. Right. So I was just reflecting on that today. And so, and thinking, man, it's been 10 years ago since I've been retired.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. Man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. So
that's a long time, man.
It is, man. You know,
I mean, it went by in a blink of an eye.
Yeah, it does, man. And that's how life goes, man. So live it, love it. Live your life and love your life. But hey, before we get into this topic, as usual, we got another great topic for you guys tonight.
Hey, Meg. I see you, Megan. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Meg. What's up, girl? Thank you for joining us. But as usual, like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Share this out to all the lovely folks out there so that we can get more people engaged in our conversations. Tonight's topic is about a police ambush that took place a little over a week ago, back on August 30th in Brevard County, Florida, involving two deputies. It's something that, we were supposed to be talking about Elijah McClain tonight, but when this came up, I said, "Oh my God, this is bad."
And we still gonna talk about Elijah.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna do a separate show on that because I know one of our viewers, Tone, wanted us to go over that, and I had heard about the Elijah McClain stuff, but I didn't really get all the information about it. So that's gonna be an extra show. We're gonna save that one for another show.
Yeah. We definitely gonna speak on that because there's a lot of things in that one that we need to get out to the folks. Some things we noticed that were very wrong with that situation. But anyway, this involved two deputies on a traffic stop in broad daylight. I'm not exactly sure what time this went down, but it was during, I would say, looked like late morning, early afternoon-ish. And this is why I think, Mike, it might have been our second or third video that we did when we talk about how traffic stops go wrong and the difference between a routine and a non-routine traffic stop. And this is what we always try to tell folks, that in the drop of a hat, these things can turn south very, very quickly. So again, this took place back on August 30th. The subject was a wanted felon.
And now, is that how they ended up? Because what I didn't get is how they ended up stopping them in the first place.
Well, that's interesting. It did not say, nor did the sheriff who did the post interview. He didn't state how or what type of traffic stop it was. It just that it was a traffic stop. They were conducting a traffic stop.
Okay.
And he was a career criminal. And this is what we talked about last week when we were saying, hey, you got to understand when the situation's over, you've been caught, the police have you detained, you have to come to the conclusion that and get it into your head that the gig is up. It's over. Just take that L.
But unfortunately, you and I both know there are guys and gals, for that matter, where their intentions are to either get away or something. They're not going with the program, no matter what. And that's what we're about to see on this video. That's going to get pretty bad. And also, we're going to be able to point out a lot of things why officers do what they do on traffic stops. You know what I'm saying? Certain tactics that we're going to talk about that we see that are either good or bad. And we're going to see all of that on this video.
Right. And so what I did, everybody, I just started it right when the incident happens. I kind of just fast forward all through the sheriff's interview so that we can get right into it and get right down to the meat and potatoes of this. But just pay attention to it. Pay attention to the people that are just the other two citizens that are just one is leaning up against the cars. You'll see the other one's talking to the other officer and notice their reactions and things and keep in mind of how this really could have turned out more worse than it already did. So without any further ado, we're going to go ahead and kick this video off.
Okay, so this is a traffic stop. There's also somebody in the car.
Correct.
And there's a baby in the car too.
Correct.
So just keep that in mind too.
Correct.
And this is where we're beginning this incident at. We don't know why they were stopped, but they were stopped. So the why isn't important, I guess, at this point.
Correct. No, you're right. You're right.
Compared to what happened here. Okay.
Yep. Oh shoot! What did I just do?
What you do, Corey?
All right, now we're good.
In the car? All right, partner. He wants to talk to you. Is that all yeah. I'll watch it for you. He's all right. I got babies. Oh, you got a dog too? Hell. I'll make sure they're all right. I got babies too, man. Huh? Okay. Shit! Hey! Shit!
Now, as you can see in here,
lot to unfold there.
Yeah. You want to go ahead and start it off this time?
Sure. So as we said, this was a traffic stop. I don't know why they were stopped initially, but that's what they're on. They're on a stop. I assume they had these two both out of the car for some reason, which, you know, that's legal to order someone out of the car. We do, as officers, have the authority to direct people out of the car. But for some reason, they had these two out of the car, and I assumed the third person was in the car tending to the baby that was in the car. So they probably said, okay, you stay in the car and tend to the baby. Now, it appears like they might have been waiting for some radio traffic. That's why you heard a lot of small talk with one of those individuals. I don't know if it was the guy talking to the person that was in the car with that small talk, you know, something about a baby. They could have been waiting on a warrants check or anything like that from the radio.
Yeah.
Right. And trying to keep everybody calm.
Yep.
Right. Now, what do we see wrong right out the gate as an officer doing traffic stops? You know, Corey, you and I are looking at tactics, and we're trying to. It's natural for us to say, well, that's not a good tactic, or that is a good tactic. Okay. You got both these officers with two guys out of the car. One is on the bumper and one is on back by the patrol car.
Mm-hmm.
So if something were to pop off right here, these officers don't know this, right? Obviously. But if something were to pop off right here, you got a major crossfire going on with one officer on one side of the scene and another officer on the other side of the scene. So keep in mind, folks, when officers are on a traffic stop, they have to be ready to shoot anybody that's at that stop at will, freely and clearly, just in case they shoot them, right? You got to be ready to pull your weapon and be able to engage all of those targets in front of you. Doesn't mean you're going to do that. I'm not saying you're going to shoot people for no reason. What I'm saying is officers have to be ready in case something like that happens. Okay?
Correct.
So you got a major crossfire here. One guy talking to another guy, the other guy standing by the car. Okay. So that's some crossfire issues. You see anything else, Corey?
No, I mean, in this instance, this is why a lot of times for officer safety, you know, when you have multiple individuals out there like that, I would probably put one in the car. I would do my best, or put another one in the Explorer right there. I would do my best to try to separate them, to keep them from wanting to do anything, get them out. Now, I also too keep in mind that officers that's at the car in front of the Explorer right there. I mean, he doesn't know what's about to happen or unfold. So,
true.
I mean, hindsight's 2020 now. I mean, now you know. Now you can, you know, we don't like Monday morning quarterbacking, but however, I think tactically wise, they could have done a better job of separating the subjects than leaving them like that, because you know you always got to keep eyes on everybody. So I think
I got a lot of background noise there. I'm trying to shut them all up. It's all good.
Oh, you good, man? Hey, we family folks. So I mean, outside of that, you know. Again, like we repeated ourselves already, you know, we don't know what the traffic stop was about, but as well as asking questions, like Mike said, you know, they could have been waiting on warrant checks, any other type of violations, restraining orders, or things of that nature that they're sitting there waiting on, conversating. So this is why, you know, for me, I get upset when I hear news agencies and everything like that always start off when you see something like this, they say routine traffic stop. And that always bothers me, because we know as law enforcement officers how quickly these things can turn south, and somebody's lives are forever changed. Hold on, Zach's got a good point here. Zach says, what's wild to me about this video when I first saw it, it was the fact that the two dudes outside of the car didn't even see this coming. They looked surprised. They took off quick though. Yeah,
they did. I mean, it happened. We're talking about a second here where somebody jumps out of that back passengers and starts with a gun and starts shooting, you know? Yeah. So, you know, for me too, another thing at this point in the game, in the stop, Corey, you had mentioned, you know, I think you had said a little bit ago, at least have that one guy, have him sit down on the curb and cross their legs. This is why we do stuff like that too. You know, people say, well, why are you having them sitting down on the curb crossing their legs? This is why. It's more of a control of being able to control that scene, just in case somebody is thinking about jumping out of the car and shooting at us. Right. So I would have that guy that's on the trunk. I'm gonna have at least one of them guys sitting down on the curb, because what people don't realize is those two officers have to focus on three separate targets, three separate individuals that they have to look at and constantly watch to make sure they don't hurt them. The guy in the car, the guy on the back of the trunk, and the guy back by the patrol car. You see what I'm saying? So that's 3 different targets that only 2 officers can watch.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that, those are things that officers are thinking about or should be thinking about in these types of stops. So in this case, I don't think this is a tactically sound way in this traffic stop. There's more than one way to skin a cat. I understand that, right? But those are things that this is why we'll say, I need you to sit down on the curb so that I can control you. This is why we don't want people just getting in and out of the car without our direction. Right.
And this is another reason why you may be placed in handcuffs.
Yeah.
Because of a situation like this. Not to saying that, you did anything wrong, but I don't know what's going on. And that's what, everybody has to understand. The officer doesn't know what's going on. There's a lot of moving parts here, obviously. And so they have to use officer safety and make sure that they're safe and the other people involved are also safe. And we do that by making sure you can't, because if I have to tell you multiple times to keep your hands out of your pockets, quit reaching, in your waist or what now, again, like those are the red flags we keep talking to you guys about. And so now, you know what? I'm done telling you, turn around, put your hands behind your back. I'm putting you in handcuffs because, too many times that's happened. And then you go to pat them down. I'm not frisking you. I'm patting you down. It's different. You're only detained. And I find out, a pocket knife on you or something like that.
This is why you can also look at it, and obviously, I would think that these 2 officers probably think that there's something going on here or something's up. Somebody might have a warrant here or something, and that's why they're waiting on this, and that's why they got 2 dudes out the car. I probably would have left the guy with the red shorts. I probably would have left him in the car until I was ready to deal with him. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, the driver. Again, there's a lot of unknowns. I mean, we don't know who was driving. We don't know why they got those 2 out of the car. But
right.
I think now we know and we see, why we had to get you out of the car, why it's important that we separate people. And it's a lot of moving parts, and officers always should be thinking tactfully what their next move is, because we always have to what if something. What if, Zach said, the guy on the back of the car, he's a free race out of there. If he wanted to take off running right now, he's gone. Right. So again, like Mike said, I would probably have him sit down on the curb or put him in my car or something like that. So I know he's secure. I can lock that door. He can't unlock it once I put him in there, to render the scene safe. Now,
and we say that loosely because there is, at this point, you still got a guy in the back of the car who happens to be the guy that jumped out with the gun. So you still don't know. You still got to control all of that. You see what I'm saying? And this is another example of how when we do a traffic stop as a police officer, that police officer is the vulnerable one. You see what I'm saying? The guys in the car already have the jump on that officer as soon as they get pulled over, because that officer doesn't know what's in that car. He doesn't know who's in that car. He doesn't know if there's someone about to pop out and start shooting at him from that car. So as you saw in this video, that guy in the back seat jumped out of that car in a second and was blasting. That officer that was closest to him, he didn't even have time to even pull his weapon out. So that's why you saw him try to run for cover. You know what I'm saying? But these are all things that's happening in a second.
That quick. I'm go ahead and play it from there, and then once the shooting starts, then I'll stop and then break that part down.
Okay.
No, I'll watch it for you. He's all right. I got babies. Oh, you got a dog too? Hell. I'll make sure they're all right. I got babies too, man. Huh? Okay. Shit!
Now, my other officer safety issue I have is I don't know. I mean, he must have had that weapon down by his feet, or he had it covered up.
Yeah, he had it somewhere in there that the officer couldn't clearly see it.
Yeah, he couldn't see, and I mean, there was no coverage for him to go to. So I mean, he did probably, what any of us would have done. He broke onto the opposite side and went around to the back side or to the side of the police vehicle right there.
Right.
The other officer, I mean, you tell me what you think about that. I mean, he left. I think that's a woman actually right there, Mike, by the police car, not a guy.
Oh, okay. All right.
But he kind of left her right there.
Yeah, he lost sight of her because he
lost. Yeah, he went and got coverage himself. Now, right or wrong, I mean, should he have grabbed her and kind of like pushed her down and got her out of the way? Because we don't know which way. Well, obviously we know now, but as the guy broke out of the car, we didn't know which way he was going to start shooting first. And if he would have shot towards the officer that was closest to the police vehicle there, he could have hit this young lady and him. But I don't know. I mean, I think he could have grabbed her and threw her down, got her out the way, but he went to cover himself. I mean, you can argue that.
I mean, and it's, we have the luxury of sitting here being able to nitpick this video because we have all the time in the world to sit here and do that, right? But these officers have to make that decision very fast, obviously. I think his first reaction maybe would have been my first reaction too, was I'm focused on the guy with the gun. And so I might jump back to get cover at least long enough for me to draw my weapon. Because you see, neither one of these officers had time to even pull their weapons out. You see what I'm saying? This is how fast that happened, which is normal. Every officer doing a traffic stop, they already know that they are at a point of disadvantage. I could get shot just walking up to the car because you could be aiming a gun right at me and I don't even see it. This is why I got a big thing about tinted windows. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
You know, in California, you can have your back windows tinted. You just can't have your front windows tinted. But you know how vulnerable that makes an officer walking up to the car against the tinted window and I can't see inside. And you can start blasting at that point. So this is a perfect example of how officers are at so much of a disadvantage on a traffic stop. This is why we may sound very direct when we need you to sit down on the curb, do this, do that. We might direct a passenger to either stay in the car or get out the car. It's all about controlling that scene to make sure we don't get hurt or you don't do something to us that, we're going to regret. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, and I agree with Zach. He says no offense to the PD, but the large police officer didn't look like he was in the mindset to deal with this and took a bullet plus a beating because of it. Lucky he wasn't killed. Absolutely. I mean, I don't know if he was not in the right mindset. I would probably say he probably wasn't tactically ready for it.
Yeah, and I think that's a good comment, Zach, because as an officer, we especially I think I said this the last show we did. When you have officers that have been on the job for a while, sometimes they have a bad habit of being too relaxed and letting their guard down. So you always have to remind police officers. When I was a police officer, every day in briefing, we were reminded of maintaining that survival mindset. You know what I'm saying? That this could be the day that you could get shot. You see what I'm saying? You train like that and you try to overcome that relaxation, if you will, for lack of better words. And you might be right, Zach, that this officer, I think he knew what was going on, but it sounds like he wasn't ready when that guy jumped out and started blasting. You see what I'm saying?
And see, we teach what we call like an interview stance, where you're standing a certain way, you have yourself positioned a certain way, an attackful way, to where something pop off like that, you can get kind of draw down on them real quick, because you're in that tactical stance position. You're always ready. I think he was probably engaged and just trying to make the scene, relax, and wasn't expecting this guy, because obviously this guy, like we said in the beginning, he was a career criminal. They're really upset that they let him out on bond.
He had history of attempted murder, robbery,
assaults, drugs.
He had a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, this guy shouldn't even been out on the street. But with that being said, I agree with you, Zach. I don't think maybe to a certain extent he probably wasn't prepared for this. He was just trying to be more. What do you want to call it, Mike? More engaged with the public and just trying to make.
I think you're right. I think his small talk with the guy in the back seat with the baby, I think that's what he was talking to. He was talking to was a guy in the back seat with the baby.
Yeah,
he was trying to engage to keep everybody calm, to make which in turn made him calm. Right. It kind of made him maybe too relaxed. But the other thing is, when you hear the comment from citizens where they say, well, why is that officer walking up to my car? He already had his hand on his gun. You know that saying?
There you go.
Well, this might be an explanation to that, because some officers you always got to be in that I'm ready for whatever mind frame as a police officer. And it might just be a habit at this point, which is not a bad habit, as you can see what happened in this incident.
Well, you train how you fight,
you do, and
you
it
fight
just
how
might
you
be,
train.
Right. And it just might be a habit for them to put their hand on their gun as they're approaching a car, especially a car with tinted windows. Think about it this way, citizens. You're doing a traffic stop, and let's say it's nighttime. Okay. You're doing a traffic stop. Okay. Nighttime, back windows tinted. You have no idea who you're stopping or anything like that. You might have your hand on your gun to be ready just in case somebody decided to jump out and shoot, just like what happened here. This is why there might be some officers who walk up to traffic stops with their hand on their gun. I know when I was an officer, I used to have my hands somewhere on my belt. That was a regular thing. When I would walk up, I noticed that my hands were somewhere on my duty belt. And usually my right hand, since I was right-handed, I had my gun on my right side, obviously. My right hand was somewhere near my firearm, if not on the firearm. So that's not that big of a deal. And this might explain why citizens don't understand why some officers walk up with their hand on their gun. So it's not because they want to shoot you. It's because they just tactically and habitually should be ready just in case something happens. That's all. We don't look at it that serious. You know what I'm saying? We look at it as we just want to practice safe survival skills, if you will. Right?
Right. All right. I'm going to keep playing this again, and then I'm going to we'll make some more comments.
The guy in the white shirt, he's hit, but he's still attacking.
Now, this is where I start scratching my head as LEO. Right, they know who the perp is that started shooting at them. Mm-hmm. My question is, why is he shooting downrange at the other person who just took off running? He wasn't a shooter, and he's just firing. He's just firing down the road there.
Good point.
Now, granted, now, in his defense, he may not have seen the guy run to the other side of the truck. Obviously, he didn't, because that's why he was cold caught. My second major issue is he's firing, and his partner.
Yes.
Look how close he. I mean, that's dangerous. I mean, I was like, oh my God, hopefully he doesn't raise his head or the guy doesn't jerk a wrong way and pops his own shift partner in the head. You know, but these things happen so fast, and this is why we have to always think tactfully. And that's why, you know, for me, anytime something like that happen, man, I'm glad I have my military training kicks in, as well as, you know, your officer survival training kicks in, and you know where your cover is. You always, what we always say, know your situational awareness, know where you are, what you got. So when something like this happens, you know where your range of fire is, your field of vision is, and where your cover is at. I mean, now they lost track of the guy, and
well, the big guy here lost track of the guy, I think, number one. And I think that the big guy here is shooting in the direction where he last saw the shooter. That's what's going on. And he doesn't see that this suspect circles around the backside of their patrol car. And that's why his partner down there, fortunately, is looking in the right direction to be able to catch that guy. Now, there was an issue about the second guy, the skinny guy, when he saw the suspect come around and surprise that larger officer. He backed away. I think he was dropping his magazine to reload. So that might have been why he was backing up, because he might have went dry and got to reload his magazine and then came back at him.
What part are you talking about?
When you play a little bit past this part where the suspect comes.
I was waiting on that part. Hold on, let me go ahead and play that then again. I'll play exactly what you're talking about.
You see how he backs up? He dropped his magazine. That's what it was.
Yeah, he dropped his magazine. Plus, he then
I'm sorry, folks. When we say magazine, we're talking about what citizens might say is a clip, the part that the bullets go into. We call that a magazine. That's what it's called. You can see he released his magazine, obviously to reload. Go ahead, Cool.
Right. You know, and you notice how he turns his back against his partner and the subject. Now, I don't know why that happened that way. I don't know. I don't know why he did that, but that's very dangerous. When why his partner there is about to get a couple of shots to the head by that gun. To me, that's. I mean, wow. I mean, these guys are really lucky.
They are, and keep in mind, there's a baby inside this car still. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that this baby is inside this car, and this suspect decided to get out and start shooting at the cops while you have a baby in the car, because it's fortunate that this baby didn't get hit with bullets. As you can see, these officers, unfortunately, they don't have time to be concerned about the baby in the car right now. Yeah. They're more concerned about this suspect with the gun who is shooting at him. And as far as they're concerned, this suspect is trying to kill me, and I need to do whatever I need to do to survive and take this suspect out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you play a little bit more, you'll see, well, oh, this is another thing I wanted to point out, but I'll wait till you play the video a little bit more about what we call a magazine dump.
Oh yeah. Let's go ahead and get to that. Hey, thank you for your comments, Zach.
Good comments, Zach. I like them.
He's got another question or comment here. He said, it looked like a bullet from one of the other officers did hit the car too. Yeah, it did. I mean, a total of 61 rounds was shot off. So I'm pretty sure some rounds hit that bullet, hit that car. So thank God that child didn't get hurt.
Thank God. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, it appears the second. There you go. He empties that magazine out on the guy. You figure it's 15 rounds in a mag usually. He emptied that whole magazine out into that suspect, and that's something I probably would have done the same. And,
absolutely.
The reason I want to point that out, because you have citizens that they're questioning. They'll question like, well, why did they shoot so many times? Why is there 61 bullets? You know, as you can see here, if someone is trying to kill you, as a police officer in this situation, that's exactly what I would be thinking. This suspect is trying to kill me, obviously. So I'm going to survive, and my adrenaline is going to be through the roof. I'm going to be focused on that suspect and putting that suspect down immediately.
And you can see how his adrenaline was going as he was shooting the subject. Right. I mean, he was just kind of just like all over the place with his actions, like, you know, trying to get a grip of the situation and what's going on, you know.
And you see how fast he emptied that magazine. That's all adrenaline right there, folks. You know what I'm saying? And that's a normal reaction, I think, for a police officer who's in that situation. I'm shooting. I'm out of bullets. Then I might reload and wait some more. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. You see how fast that happened. You can pull that trigger pretty quick.
And remember, it's just, in this instance here, like Zach said again, you know, he tried to kill a cop. I may do a magazine dump, sure enough. And I think 99.9% of every officer out there, if they're in that type of situation, would do a magazine dump. You know,
I ain't
like
counting.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, Mike, and this is what I really liked about what this sheriff had to say in his last comment was, you know, because he responded to somebody and said, well, why did they have to shoot him? I think he actually was shot 15 times. And the sheriff said, well,
that's 15 rounds right in the magazine.
Yeah. What did he say? He said that thing. He said that the sheriff said the evil can never be dead enough.
Yeah. Hey.
And I thought, wow,
I wouldn't have a problem with that statement from the sheriff. Well, I wouldn't.
No, because again, like we said in the beginning of the show, you know, you have to know when it's game over. You know, this guy, you know, is a career criminal, and is, if you don't want to go back to prison for the rest of your life, quit doing dumb stuff. Doing dumb stuff.
But we know, Corey, you and I both know.
Well, that's
he's
my
a
problem,
career criminal for a reason. Career criminals don't care nothing about these calm. Our calm acronym. Career criminals don't care about no calm acronym.
No, they don't care about calm.
He was just waiting for his opportunity.
That's right.
Take them out so that he can get away. That's all.
Right. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, you're right, Zach. That's a damn good sheriff.
This is that's a good comment. And this is why officers on patrol have to be constantly ready for something like this to pop off.
You got to keep your head on a swivel. I mean,
you do. And this is why we don't want people getting out of cars unnecessarily. Why we might say, no, I need you to stay in the car, because that's you taking my attention off of what I need to be focused on. And that's when you are on a traffic stop, everybody in that car, even the passengers, are detained. You can't just get out of the car freely or anything like that. You detained. You got to stay in that car unless that officer directs you to get in or out or whatever they direct you to do. Okay. And then when it's all done, then I release you. But this is why officers do some of the things they do on traffic stops. This is why we might say, I need you to step out. I need you to sit down on the curb, or I might even need to put handcuffs on you to make sure you don't hurt, because I got some other things I got to focus on, and I don't want to have to be worried about you doing something to hurt me. You see what I'm saying?
Well, and to respond to Zach here, you know, this is my point. You know, you have to understand that it's not about, if you're going to get out here and do this, then you know what? If you're going to be a career criminal, then you need to understand that there's a high probability that you're going to get shot and killed by the police. And oh, by the way, go ahead and tell your family, don't be sitting up here talking about, talking about hating the police and this, that, there, because you got killed. No, that was your own dumb fault. I have no love for these type of guys. None whatsoever.
No, he got what he deserved. He got what he deserved. Those officers did what they needed to do to take him out. To protect themselves and take him out. I am just glad that the baby is unharmed. That's number one. But unfortunately, you don't have time to think about the baby until it's all over and done.
And that's what's crazy, because you got all these rounds, 61 rounds shot off. Yeah. And those rounds don't have eyeballs.
No.
And whoo, by the grace of God, those guys didn't get hurt, nor did that child. And the two citizens that were there didn't get hurt either. And they actually came back to the scene to cooperate more with the law enforcement, which was outstanding on their part. But I have no love in my heart for career criminals. And I tell you a short story. I had pulled over a guy about 3 years ago now, right before I left the department. And I went up to the car. I could smell the marijuana before I got up to the car. And I did a passenger side approach. Mm-hmm. And the way he was positioned at the side, had his shoulder up against the door. I couldn't see down on the floorboard. But when I had got him out of the car and had handcuffed him, because at this point back then, I had probable cause to search the vehicle because there's the strong smell of marijuana coming out of the vehicle. And so I started searching where he was sitting. And on the floorboard, he had a loaded .357 at his feet, wrapped up in a blanket. Now, at any point, he could have grabbed that joker and shot and killed me right there on the side of the road. And I would have never, he'd had to jump on me. Mm-hmm. Right. This is why, you wonder why you say officers are so scared. Well, if you're scared, you shouldn't be a police officer. No.
There's nothing wrong with a little fear.
You got to have a little fear, because that's what's going to keep you alive.
Yeah. Fear sometimes will keep you on your toes, especially if you are trained in a particular way. That fear will make sure you stay within the parameters of your training and stay focused.
And you're going to keep your head on a swivel. Right. And so now he actually was what we ended up getting him for being a career criminal. He had just this was like in August. He had got out that February, and he had just did 9 years for armed robbery. And plus he was a gang member, this, that, third. But he didn't want to go back to jail, but he didn't fight either, which was, I thank God every day he didn't fight. But, this is what we're saying is like, these things go south so bad, and you can't say every traffic stop is not a routine traffic stop. Just because something didn't happen, I can't stress that enough. I don't like hearing, when I hear on the media that, this was, officer involved shooting, it was a routine traffic stop. The cause of the traffic stop has now gone out the window. It's gone. It's dead. It's not a void, right? Because now that subject has changed that script. Now we have an officer involved shooting.
Right.
That's where it's at. That's where it's at right there. And then there's nothing normal about it. I mean, what do you think, Mike? What do y'all think? I mean,
yeah, I mean, well, I think Zach said this is a good video. Why police should use their training. That's a good comment, and you're exactly right, Zach. And also, I hope that this video might be able to explain to some citizens why, like we say, why we might have you sit down on the curb, why we don't want you to get out of your car, why we might have our hand on our gun sometime if we coming up to a traffic stop. It might be a habit doing that. You see what I'm saying? Why so many rounds are fired in the heat of a moment. As you can see, you said 61 rounds. That's a lot of rounds. But
that's a lot of rounds.
As an officer in that situation, I'm shooting back at somebody who's trying to kill me. I ain't counting bullets. You see what I'm saying? I'm shooting. Hopefully I don't run out. But if I run out, I might reload and keep going. You see what I'm saying? You got to understand that adrenaline pump, and that this might give you an inside look as a citizen of why you have situations where, well, that's an awful lot of rounds, bullets that they fired at them.
And I tell you what, I'm so glad that gun the subject had jammed on him. Because it could have been bad.
Yeah, that the bigger guy officer, he would have been dead probably if that gun. Because he didn't even see that suspect come around there. He didn't even see him until he got hit over the head. Well,
he could have got. And the sad thing was when they were like that, the partner, they're kind of facing each other. He didn't really have a clean shot if he wanted to shoot back at him because his partner was there. You know, there was in that little bit of a struggle right there. What kind of gun did the subject have? I think they said it was an AR, with a modified buttstock on it. I think that's what the sheriff said. I had to go back and look at that. But I mean, so he didn't have his shot, and that's what caused him to, circle back around and try to reposition himself so that he could get a clear shot. And that's when he finally came back and unloaded on him, which again, hey, you got what you deserve. I have no remorse for you, no love for you.
Zach says the police, he thinks they had terrible communication. I could see why you might have that viewpoint because you got the smaller officer. I don't know if either of them really knew where this suspect went after he started shooting. He just came around the other side. Now, if the smaller officer did know that, he should have directed his larger partner in the right direction to be aiming, and he wouldn't have at least maybe wouldn't have been surprised when the suspect came around and hit him in the head. I don't know. You see what I'm saying? And it's hard for us to jump in the minds of these individual officers at this scene at that split second of the decisions that they were making. You see what I'm saying? We can easily sit back here and say he should have said this or he should have done this. We can easily do that, sure. But that's because we have the luxury of sitting here with time slowing down, being able to freeze frame a video and look at what could be done better. You see what I'm saying? Which is fine too.
I mean, this will definitely make a great training video for other officers. And absolutely. I guarantee you a lot of guys are sitting back at their precincts talking about this. What could have been done better. Right. Not so much as the subject in being in the car, but tactfully, what could have been done differently. And I tell you, a lot of training would have been done on, not turning your back, not losing sight of the subject. Where's your closest cover if you have to take cover? And these are some of the things we all like, it sounds like we're beating a dead horse, but these are some of the things that, we always have to go through it. Like sometimes when I would be sitting in my little honeydew spot running radar, sometimes I would just sit there and put myself through scenarios. Okay, if I stop this person here and they did this, I should do that. And then if I had to get into a shootout, where's my nearest cover at? Right.
And so you don't want your cover to be so far covered that you lose sight of anything that's going on in front of you. You see what I'm saying? And Zach, you make some good points there too about the head turn, shooting over the officer's head. That's that crossfire we were talking about, and turning his back to run to reload. Yeah, I don't know if when he did that to reload, he could have. I think you could look at that both ways. He could have stood stationary and reloaded, but then maybe he was thinking, I need to get the cover to reload and come back at him. which maybe is what he did. I don't know what's off screen here that we don't see on the right side.
Well,
but maybe he continued to move to be a moving target. Because keep in mind, if you stay stationary, you're a stationary target, you're easier to hit. You see what I'm saying? So maybe in his, I'm only money on the quarterback in here, but maybe in that officer's mind, he was trying to still be mobile so that not to be a stationary target for somebody to hit while he's reloading.
Well, and not only that, I mean, you still have two other citizens out there that were in the car that took off, and so you still have to be mindful of them. You don't know if they're part of this,
right? You don't know if they're going to come back and try to shoot you from a different angle. You know, there's a lot of unknowns there too. Maybe that's what that officer was thinking. You know, I'm moving around, I'm staying mobile. I mean, you think about it, Corey. When we train for stuff like this, to reload, you want to get to cover to reload if at all possible, right? Without losing sight or focus of what's in front of your target, obviously. And then if you're fortunate enough to have 2-3 officers, you know, those other 2 officers are aiming down range while you reload. You say, you yell out something, I'm reloading, or whatever your word is to let the other officers know you out of bullets. Yeah. But that's in a perfect scenario. You see what I'm saying?
And you don't have that perfect scenario here. And you're right. And now that we're thinking about it, I mean, that's probably why he was moving around like that, because he's trying to gain situational awareness of where everybody is at this point. Right. He doesn't know. So, because I was like, why are you not taking cover? Like, you know, if you're even going to reload like that, make yourself a smaller target by crouching down and then do your reload that way. And gain your because you got to keep your gun in the fight. I mean, running around like that for a matter of seconds and not having rounds in that weapon, you're a sitting duck.
Yeah, you got to keep in the fight. That's and we don't know what kind of, from what we're looking at in this video at this angle anyway, we don't know what kind of cover was around there aside from the patrol car.
Right. I mean, right. I mean, there could have been a 7-Eleven on the backside. We don't know. Exactly. But what we do see, you know, if the rest of the surrounding areas is like what we see here on screen, a bunch of, you know, just field and trees, then, you know, there's not much cover there. I mean, you're not going to run you don't want to get too far from the scene. You know, I'm not going to run off to the tree line.
Right.
I need to stay engaged in the fight and bring this situation to an end, gain control of it. But that's what I think, man. I mean, y'all let us know. I mean, Zach, you're making some really good points.
He made another good point.
What did he say?
He said all he heard was communication was huge when firing a gun, especially when you have a partner there, you know, and stuff like that. Yes, communication is huge. I agree. And he says all he heard was the officer saying shit, and that was it. Yeah, you're right, Zach. I didn't see, especially the time where it looked like the smaller officer maybe knew where that suspect had gone, but he's not directing his partner in the right direction. You see what I'm saying? That's huge.
I mean, I mean that is huge. But let us know what y'all think about this video. Was it the guy, the subject that was shot multiple times? Do you think that was warranted or not? Let us know and leave us a comment below. Zach, we already know how you feel, so it's all good, brother.
Thanks for doing that.
Go and make sure you smash that like button. Share this out to everybody. We will do. We'll have another show coming out this weekend. We're going to record it tomorrow. I'll probably post that on Saturday or Sunday. We'll be talking about Elijah McClain and that situation. But we thank you guys for listening to us. Zach, man, we love your comments. Thank you for joining us this evening. Meg, we thank you. And we love you back too.
And Tone, if you're watching this, you might not be watching it now, but you're gonna be watching it later, I'm sure. We'd love to get you on this live too, man, so you can make some comments and questions.
Yeah. We're gonna have to get him online here, man, because
we gotta get the Tone's perspective.
Yeah. So hey, and always remember, we know you're not these criminals, folks, but if you ever get stopped in a traffic stop, always remember to stay calm. Stay calm. Comply, answer questions, listen, and move on. Your end objective is to move on, no matter if you get a ticket or not. But just stay calm, and everything will work out just fine. All right, Mike, any last words?
No, that's it. Everybody stay safe, and we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah, stay safe, and we'll see y'all next week. Peace.